Okay, friends, here we are again, and that's that marvelous theme song. I love that thing. It's melodious and it's mysterious at the same time. But anyway, let's not be too mysterious about it. I'm Dr. Dennis Becker, and joining me today, as always, is my colleague Robin Golinski. And we're here talking about the exciting topic of manipulation. Isn't that fun? Oh boy. Okay, well, it's going to be not only fun, but informative and I think very helpful today. Because today's something very unusual because we have a very brave guest with us today. Because our guest today, who, by the way, whose name is Gethro Lacroix. Jethro, I mean, tell me if I made it wrong, Jethro, if I made that wrong. It's okay? Okay, we'll just call Jethro. That makes it easy. So Jethro has come to us to visit with us as an admitted manipulator. That's a little bit unusual because we don't have many of those kind of folks on here because they don't have that kind of courage. So, first of all, welcome, Jethro, and welcome and hooray for your courage in doing this. So, Robin, meet our guest, Jethro.
Yes, hi Jethro.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated by this. I guess my first question would be, how did you come to the epiphany that you were a manipulator? Or maybe we should back up and say, who were you? I don't know how much you're comfortable sharing, but who were you manipulating? And maybe your age factored into it. Oh, I gotta fix that.
Um,
And then how you realize, whoops, I think I shouldn't be doing this.
First and foremost, thank you for having me, Dr. Becker, and thank you for having me, Robin. To answer your question, when I first really got into it, just it would be really more so in my dating life. I would say so was where I noticed that a lot of like the manipulation would come with the women that I was dating, where not even just dating, but I was dealing with and just dealing with and passing by, where I would always lie. I would always do things for my gain, and I had an ex tell me something that really made me realize that I'm not what that's all cracked up to be. When she said with me consideration, she says I never consider her feelings. I just always just do things whatever I want to do. I'm never sitting there stopping and thinking like, how does X, Y, and Z will affect this person? It's just I'm going headstrong, head first, doing whatever I want to do, never taking the time to breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth, assess the situation, and figure out how this is going to affect this person. And then I would say that's what really made me realize. And then even going, then still messing up, still doing the same thing over and over. There's like a famous, like now like a famous social media quote that God will have you going through the same lessons over and over and over again until you learn.
Yeah.
So now I'm very proud to say in my last two relationships and my current one too, and the one previous before that, I haven't been manipulated. I've actually been like basically just following the rules, making sure that I'm not trying to get one up on somebody. And also, I used to be a former pathological liar as well too, where just in all of my like, it doesn't matter if I just met you on the street, I'm lying for no reason. Doesn't make any sense why I'm just doing it just to do it. And
That
that's
is so interesting. I have so many questions about that.
So basically, I would say to answer your question first and foremost, it's just that I just started noting this pattern in my dating life where I was just always the problem. Like I was genuinely always the problem. And I'm always blaming the women, but it was me though. It was always me. It was always something that I was doing, something that I was lacking, and it was always me. And it was nothing, it was just literally off of social, it was off of my emotional factors, emotionally, psychology, like, based off of those, just me always trying to one up, always trying to win. When as I'm learning, as I'm getting older, now I'm 30, that's not the point of meeting people and engaging with other humans, is not try to one up. Is we're all in this together, like we're all fighting the same battles, like some battles bigger than others, like there's no need to try to get a W off of somebody when we're all fighting a battle.
I love it.
How
Get
old were you,
W.
Jethro? How old were you when you're saying dating? Was it teenage years?
Actually, Dr. Becker, I had a very, very, very low self-esteem when I was young. Very low self-esteem. I was bullied
Mm.
a lot when I was younger. Like any other kid, I went through
Yeah.
a lot of I brought upon myself as well too. And then for some reason, when I was in high school, I started getting a little bit more confident. I was the class president. I ran to be part of that. So I would call like that basically broke me out of my shell where the way I ran was that I would go up to every single person in my class and I would just say, hey, I'm running for president. What do you want to see change? I had my little notebook and I was basically, you could say like a grassroots in high school. I was doing grassroots
Yeah.
in high school. So shaking hands, talking to people. And then that basically got me out of my shell because I guess around my junior year, I know my sophomore year, I was like, man, I just don't want to keep coming to high school not doing nothing. Let me try just playing sports. Let me try something. So then that got me
Yeah.
out of my shell, more comfortable talking to people because truth be told, I had no confidence talking to women for a very, very, very long time. So I had no confidence.
Yeah.
Then when I got to college and then I got out of high school, my confidence grew, started meeting more women, started talking to more women, and then it's just kind of like Uncle Ben and Spider-Man with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
It's just like it was.
Yeah.
I just started going crazy. You could say in the sense that's where the manipulation came into effect, where not being honest with women, and not letting them know what I really wanted, just
Mm.
doing whatever I wanted, and only thinking about Jethro Lacroix, Jethro Lacroix, Jethro Lacroix. When I'm one out of 8 billion people. I'm not yeah, the main character syndrome. I'm
Mhm.
not that important, but I am important. But the people around me are important just as much as me. We all bleed red. We all cry. We all smile. We all laugh. Like we all have emotions. It's not just about Jethro Lacroix. It's about this
Mhm.
other person too that I'm courting, that I'm talking to, that I'm having sexual intercourse with. It's about this person as well too, not just me.
Yeah. Mm. How do
It's
you think you
important.
came to that? How do you think you came to all of that? Because it's almost a direct turnaround from those earlier years you said. So can you go back to the earlier years and say why you had no confidence?
It would be safe from the bullying, I would say. So then when I got out of school, like when I got my first year in college, me and a friend we would just walk around just going up talking to girls saying, hey, how you doing? Just trying to get their number. Then like and that just elevated my confidence like supremely. Like I have a confidence now where I feel like I can talk to anybody, man. Like it doesn't matter. Like if I could hold a conversation with anybody. I'm not shy, I'm not standoffish about it.
Yeah.
Like I
Hmm.
can have a conversation with anybody. I feel like that's one of my strongest traits, and I'm very happy about that because my earlier years I couldn't. So I would say it just came from, to answer your question, Dr. Becker, it just came from practice, me just doing it.
Hmm.
Because because you're thinking about when you're getting bullied and you're getting basically made fun of all the time, it's very difficult to build up that confidence. So it takes
Hmm.
time to grow that. And so that's basically what happened to me. So I would
Hmm.
say my confidence really grew from like 20 to 25. And then the turnaround happened when I had an ex basically slap me in front of my mom twice for cheating. What happened was in that situation, long story short, was that there was a young lady who I was really infatuated with like during that year, but we fell out and then she came back. It was one of those situations where I'm in a relationship, she comes back, and I'm just in a conundrum where I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not doing the right thing. I'm making the wrong decision purposely.
Hmm.
I'm fully aware. I know right from wrong. I know
Hmm.
yes and no. Like I'm a adult man. I know what's right and I know what's wrong.
Hmm.
But long story short, me and her don't never link up. We didn't have sex or anything. It's just that I was in the act of doing it. We were texting, and I realized this was wrong, so I stopped texting her. But the fault where I had was she asked me, "Do I have a girlfriend?" And I lied and I said no. She sends me a text, asks me, do I have her blocked? My girlfriend at the time sees it. It becomes a big thing. She calls the young lady. The young lady tells her whatever
Oh boy.
outside. She's mad. She slaps me one time in front of my mom, then another time, and I'm just sitting there looking dumbfounded. And all
Oh
I'm
boy.
all I'm thinking about too in that moment is, wow, all I had to tell her was I have a girlfriend. I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your mom weigh in on that as well?
All she said was, "Don't hit her." That's all she said. She told me, "Don't."
Don't hit her back.
Me personally, I've never put my hands on a woman I've dated or done anything with.
Yeah.
How much time they hit me? I'm I'm
Yeah.
I'm from that school of a woman can hit me 300 times. Like that,
Yeah.
Dr. Becker and Robin. I go to the gym 5 times a week. Me and Robin actually had a meeting yesterday for coaching, but I had to miss it because I did a 6.2 mile run at 3 a.m. on Friday, and I was just really tired from like, 'cause I had like a plethora of other things, so I was just really tired. So my physical fitness is really up there. So for me to put my hands on a woman would be a bit demoralizing. It was literally like the story. It
Yeah.
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. Like
Sure.
I'm 30, I'm in really good shape. I
Yeah.
run 5 miles at 3 a.m. Like I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, long story short, that's all I was playing back in my head. Like, wow, like this could have been avoided. And then I started thinking about past situations where, wow, if you didn't do this, this could have been avoided. And then it basically just started that turning of the tide, you can say, to now with my past two relationships, there's no manipulation, it's full honesty, full
Hmm.
transparency. It's not me trying to one up on them, not me trying
Hmm.
to gain anything. It's just flowing, I would say so.
Hmm.
That is really amazing. It really is. And I know that you never do these things alone, right? You have to you get help along the way. You have allies who give you advice, and it sounds to me like this girlfriend haunted you with her words. Although it was interesting to me that you said she told you only think about yourself, you don't think about anybody else. For some reason, that was a little more sticky because of the timing of it, or maybe your age and development. So it's stuck in your brain like a burr, but it didn't change your behavior. And this is important for people to know who are listening. Nothing is instant, nothing is magic. So you had this little burr, which could have just lived there and not actually grown. But because it was there and because you didn't completely bury it or ignore it or rationalize it away, you had to make a few more mistakes with manipulation before you went, there's a common denominator. The thread, the pattern here is me, which the world, according to Robin, which I say all the time, is the definition of becoming a man. You could use the word adult, but let's focus on males here for a minute. Is that you take 100% responsibility for your thoughts, your words, and your actions, which is a full time job. And you did that, and then you changed yourself completely. And that's, I mean, you must have higher quality engagements and relationships now as a result, I would imagine.
To be honest with you, yes, the right now I am in a relationship. We've been together for a year now, but the one before that, it was funny because we got together in one day. Made her my girlfriend. It was really, I'm a lover boy. I would say Dr. Becker and Rob. That's the thing. I'm a
True
manipulator.
confessions
All
here.
right. That's okay.
Like,
He's
I'm,
not a hitter, people. He's a
That's okay.
lover to a fault.
I'm a,
Okay.
the reason why I was so like I would say I would be manipulative too, like basically bringing this all around together was that I just didn't know how to like be open. I would say though, because I would say, especially when I listen to your podcast, is the main reason why somebody will manipulate because we're always shielding something. You're blocking off something. You're not
Yes.
manipulating for fun. You're manipulating because you don't want the other person to know what's really going on with you. That's the whole point of disguise. That's why I even wear masks.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Physically and literal in the literal sense. I mean like the scripture sense. That's why I
Yep.
asked. That's why back in the old days, the plays where they had a play, they had a mask on. Because they either had the mask or makeup on. That's what we do. Especially as
Yep.
a lot of men don't want to admit it, but we have a makeup on all the time.
Mhm.
Have makeup on all the time. It takes a lot of courage to admit that I need to take this makeup off and
Mhm.
really just show who I am. Who cares if they like it?
Yeah.
To know who cares. So going through
That's really a leap of faith right there.
is
And
tough.
and it's not easy in the generation you're in with all the social media and all the, you and I talked about this a little bit, of the fake marketing and the fake lives people present, and connecting with people authentically is, I think, more challenging in your generation for sure.
Um,
But you're going to get, there are people out there that are authentic, and you're certainly not going to get them as a manipulator.
So let's go back, if we can, Jethro, if you don't mind. Let's go back 1 year in this relationship that you're now in. In this relationship, uh, you met, there was an attraction, and you agreed that you wanted to spend time with each other, however, and there must have come a point, a time, that you decided, I am not going to manipulate in this relationship. I have in others, and I can do it right now, but I am not going to do it. Do you remember what that moment was that made you think that way? This is something she said, something you said, something you did or she did that said, no, I'm not going to do it this time. I'm turning this corner right now.
I'm going to tack onto that and say, and how do you continue to police yourself
Let's get one at
Because
a time.
well, no, it's a similar,
Uh,
he got it in that moment, but then how does he continue to
There
do
may
it?
be there may be different things, Robin. That's the point I want to make. There may be different things each time it's come up because he was the other way for a long time. So now all of a sudden to be in this way for a long time, he may need more than one motivator, one thing that recognizes it. But let's go back and find out. But what happened at that turning point when you said, "Nope, not this time, man. I'm going the other way."
Whoa, Dr. Becker, you know how to ask, you know how to ask some questions, my guy. You know how to ask some questions. I have to say that. Um, Actually, because this thing goes back to what I stated earlier, the little famous quote that God just keep giving you the same lessons over and over again until you learn.
Good. Yeah.
A young lady who I used to have interactions with, she came in my Instagram DMs, as Robin is saying, like in our time, it's very easy now for a 30-year-old man to
Yeah.
I don't have to walk down the street anymore. I can just open up this device right here and I can
Yeah.
to thousands on thousands on thousands on thousands on thousands of women. So this young lady, she came DM me in my IG DMs, basically was trying to get me and her to get back to what we used to do. And I basically just steered it away. And it's crazy you said like what I was thinking about. That's literally what everything you just said in the question. I literally said, you know what? I'm not doing this again. Like I
Hmm.
did the last
Hmm.
relationship. I'm gonna make sure I don't do this anymore either. So I basically just let her know I'm in a relationship. I'm good. Because in our past, when women would ask me if I'm in a relationship, I would lie and say no
Yeah.
and open up that doorway. But
Yeah.
I shut it off. Like I can tell you a plethora of times to answer the question more in depth as well. Women always asking me, "Am I single? Do I have a girlfriend?" So
Yeah. Yeah.
what I'm learning is too, as I'm doing this more, because my previous relationship was only like a month and some change is that when you say that no, it's very powerful. It stops a lot of headaches.
Hmm.
Basically, like your brakes on your car.
Yeah.
Now on the
Yeah.
newer cars, when you're about to hit somebody and you're not paying attention, it's gonna beep, 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 and boom and stop you right
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
Probably like a hairpin away from the
Hmm.
car in front of you to stop a collision.
And it
That
feels good.
exactly. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking as the only female in this trio, I will say that there is a hormonal factor to anyone. And when you're younger, there's hormones drive a lot of behavior, but it's when you can master the mind over that and you're more thoughtful and more, you think about the consequences of your choices. That's the definition of maturity. But
Hmm.
the biggest complaint women have about men is that and also well, let me start there. One of the biggest complaints women have about men is that they don't control themselves enough behaviorally.
Hmm.
And that our society actually allows it, rewards it, thinks it's cute. I could give you millions of examples of that, but I think you guys know that's a fact. Men get away with much, much, much more bad behavior than women do, and it's accepted. And so, in order to turn this culturally, it takes one person like you, Jethro, one person to say, "I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be different." And for us to start evolving men more, because now who's looking up to you? Who your behavior is being modeled to someone else, or who's listening to you right now, who may be a 14-year-old boy, although I don't know that we have that target market, but who knows? Might say, "Oh, I never thought of it that way." It's really important. And I really commend you for having the courage to talk about this and admit,
Absolutely.
because a lot of people do it, but they never admit it.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's what I wanted to get at, Jethro. Robin stated it clearly. At that moment when you decided, nope, I'm not doing that anymore. Nope, I'm going this way. Okay, that was a tough moment. That was a tough decision because it's so easy to be the other way. It's so
Yeah.
easy to make this and that and say this and look
An
that and do that.
instant
It's easy.
gratification.
So all of a sudden, and you got instant gratification from it, but all of a sudden you said, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not going that way. I'm going this way now. Now, at that moment, were you able to think about why? Why am I not going to do that anymore?
Um, I want to bring something back to my
Yeah.
previous relationship, right? There was an instance where me and her were going through we were like basically fighting a lot. We were like it was a lot of problems. Like
Mm.
on both parties, I would say. It was just a lot of things going on. But there's something that goes back to that first question. then I'm gonna answer the second question where I had opportunity to do basically what I wanted to do. I went out on Thanksgiving and I was really upset with her. Really upset with her. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna do what I want. And then I calmed myself down. I said, you know what? I'm gonna prove to myself and to her that I can go out here, not try to pick up another young lady. And that's what I did. And then now to answer the second question, where you asked me again, correct is why, right?
Yes, correct.
So the reason why is that, man, just heartbreak is tough. Dr. Becker, it is tough.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
those emotions that, like, as Robin would know as being a woman on the panel, like women, they feel everything. Us as men, Dr. Becker, you know, we can hide some things, we can shrug some things off, we can keep pushing. But women, they feel. They
Yeah.
And you just, if you actually care about this woman, you feel everything too. Unless
Mhm.
you're like a sociopath.
Right.
Truly love this woman, or not even love, you just truly respect her as a human being. You will feel those emotions in
Yeah.
this. It's kind of like even like indirectly me causing my own PTSD where I've seen this, I've seen what my own emotions, choosing what I want to do at a very young age, as Robin pointed out perfectly, was when you're young, especially as a young man, you have the world at your hand. The world is your oyster. You really can do anything you want. You really can do anything you want. And it goes back to this quote that I learned that separates man from beast is that we know what's right from wrong. Beast,
Yeah.
that's that very, very thin line that separates us from the animal kingdom is that we know what's right from wrong. We know when to say no, this isn't okay. And so basically answer to your why is just that I've seen those emotions and I see what they bring upon, and I just don't want to have another relationship like that where a young lady is crying because of actions that I have caused, something that I have done. And then lastly, to answer your question as well, Dr. Becker, I sleep better at night. I sleep
Ah,
No.
there
way
you
better.
go.
Yep.
There
I
you go.
like when I was doing what I was doing, like lying,
Yeah.
cheating,
Yeah.
just basically dealing, and mind you, it's not just in relationships, like I was basically deceiving people around me all the time. Like now I don't, and what that does for me now, just like it's like a weight has lifted my shoulder. I'm not
Hmm.
scared to tell somebody I don't know. I'm not
Hmm.
scared to tell somebody I'm not an expert in this field. I'm not
Hmm.
scared to tell somebody that I have to research this up for you.
Hmm.
Now
Yeah.
it's just like a big shoulder off of my back where when I go to
Yeah.
sleep, sleep with peace now. Like I'm
Yeah.
paranoid. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this, I gotta change that, I have to erase this, I have to
Ugh.
goes
So
back,
exhausting.
going back to what
Yeah.
Robin says about this day and age for a 30-year-old man that's living in 2025, 25 to 30, 21 to 28. There's a lot to cheating. There's a lot to deceiving. There's a lot to manipulating. It's just a lot. And to fully answer your question, Dr. Becker, why is just, man, I don't want to invoke those emotions anymore in the women that I'm
Hmm.
dealing with, have these sad tears. And secondly, I don't want to go to sleep paranoid. I want to sleep with my
Hmm.
eyes closed with a beautiful
Hmm.
dream, you know, like
Yeah. Now let me just put a little bit of a twist on that very same question, because we've been talking about your relationship with the women and how that has happened. Do you have the same feeling about men?
with men, yeah. Like when you're a manipulator, Dr. Becker, you know this better than anybody. You're manipulating everybody,
Oh yeah.
trying to get over on everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't
absolutely.
discriminate.
You don't discriminate with men, like especially too when I was younger. 'Cause I didn't really have. I would say I had a good relationship with men, but not too much. I just always felt like a man was trying to get one up on me. So
Yeah.
I was always in like a very competitive,
Yeah.
like state of being where I have to make sure I do something before you do something to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that translates as well to how you deal with women because my biggest issue was that I was always defensive when these women, like, I've been blessed to date women who just genuinely loved me. Like, they loved me for me. It was no issue, no problem. I was the issue. I was the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like when I'm dealing with men when I was younger, especially, it was just like, I feel like we was always in competition. It was always a battle
Yeah. Yeah.
always alpha versus alpha when it's not like that. Again, goes back to what I said earlier in the podcast where we're all human. We're all
Yeah.
beings. We're all living beings. We all bleed red. We're all fighting a battle.
Well,
So
Jethro,
is it fair to say that that level of competition is either not there or has diminished with you? You are now more in control of that sense of I need to compete. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's like now I don't want to say I find to be honest with you, it's more so like I have a competition now with myself now.
Yeah.
Like
oh, that's good.
for example, now I have been sober now. I love saying I've been sober now for 194 days. Haven't drank, smoked weed, popped the pill. I used to love shrooms and acid. I used to love Xanax for a period of time in my life, but I am done with all of that, and I'm 194 days sober.
Great.
I've been in the gym now since October 22nd, 2024. Been sober since August 5th, 2024. And I go to the gym now 5 times a week. I've been going to the gym 5 times a week now, so we're roughly around like 100 days. And I now added to my regimen 3 a.m. runs on every
Hmm.
because
My goodness.
I'm
Yeah.
off on Saturday, Sunday, so I'm off on the gym on the weekends. But
Yeah.
this morning I had to go to the gym at 12:40 a.m. till 2:12 because I was so tired on Friday from the 6.2 mile run, 10,000 kilometers. So I like,
Hmm.
I'll go to the gym on midnight on Saturday, which is today.
Hmm.
So that competition now is between Jethro and Jethro.
There you go.
Like I feel, and also what happening too now in my life, I'm getting more into the word, and I truly believe whatever the Lord, my Heavenly Father, has for me, He has for me, and nobody can take it away.
Hmm.
Whatever,
That's a fact. And that's true. Okay, so even those people who are listening who are not particularly religious, what religion brings is a moral compass.
Hmm.
And
yes,
if you study all religions, at the very core, they're all the same.
yes,
They
ma'am.
all have the same message. They all, and the reason they've stood the test of time, the reason why they're worldwide is because they've worked in giving people a solid foundation and a moral compass. I was raised with no religion, but because of the kind of kid I was, and I read a lot of books, and when I spent the night at people's houses, I would go to the temple or the church or whatever, or the Southern, I've been to all of them. Um, I would learn, I was able to discern what the part, because religion can be manipulative, right? This is why you have to be a thinker. You have to be able to think. And when somebody presents you with truth with a capital T, but they cloud it with other things that are more man-made, shall we say, um, you've got to be able to tease out that and think for yourself. But religion can be enormously helpful in guiding people. And you have to have I think people have to have something at their core. And we talked about what do you do when nobody else is watching? That's who you really are. What do you do when you think you can get away with it? And people who have a solid moral center, they don't steal something when they know they can get away with it because it's not right. It's just
Well, however you got it, it sounds like you are, if you didn't have, you are building that strong central core that's allowing you to be more of who you want to be as opposed to who you thought you should be. So there's a huge congratulations for you to even get on this path, Jethro. This is a hard thing. There have been so many things in your life apparently that prevented you from getting onto it that manipulation became an easy way to avoid it. I can just be this and I get success out of it. I can be that. Like I can say this, I can do that, and you get success out of it. You get to a point at some point, perhaps in your life where you are now, where you say, man, this is just, it doesn't feel right. I get it, but it doesn't feel right to me. And that has a lot to do with maturity, of course. You get to that point and you say, well, what am I going to do about that? It might involve alcohol or drugs or behavior and certainly manipulation. What am I going to do about that? And why should I do it? And when I asked you that question, your answer was, it makes me feel like a better person. It allows me to sleep at night. I don't carry the guilt around anymore. I don't carry the fear. You didn't say that word, but these are the things that you're beginning, I think, these are the things that you're beginning to feel as a free person who is now making his own decisions, his own core. And the tough part will be, of course, sticking to it because you will reach obstacles and people who will challenge you and people who will defeat you and people who want to be in competition with you. And the temptation will be to just fall back to the way you used to do it, man. I'm pretty good at this. I can do this.
temptation never goes
That's
away.
tough. That's tough.
Dr. Becker and Robin, especially what you just said, Dr. Becker, I want to point something out. There is a fear. When you're a manipulator, like don't let you know this, and Robin, you know this too. You're fearful every day. You're
Yeah,
fearful when they get caught. Somebody,
that's right.
Yeah.
somebody,
And yeah. And
information.
you're preparing your excuse or your out or your plan or your story.
Right.
Yeah.
You're fearful every single
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. That.
All
Yeah.
the time.
All the time around the clock. You are fearful that I'm going to be exposed. Like I stated earlier,
Yeah.
the mask is going to be revealed.
Yeah. That's exactly
I
right.
pull my mask off and I don't know what to do. There's a
Yeah.
popular thing that we call masks in the Black community. We love calling them Pooh Shiesty masks after a rapper. So we love calling them
Oh,
Shiesty.
shiesty.
Pooh Shiesty. So basically somebody's gonna pull off your Shiesty. So,
Cool. Yeah.
so
That's good. Is that in a song?
basically, is this rapper named by the name of Pooh Shiesty. He started wearing the black ski mask. I actually have one too. So he started wearing the black ski mask. And cause it's a cultural thing. Monkey see,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
monkey.
Yeah. It's a great metaphor.
He started wearing the Shiesty mask, and then in a video with another famous rapper by the name of Little Dirk, and then it became popular overnight. You know how it goes, Dr. Beck and Robin. You know this. I'm assuming that you both have kids, correct?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
we're we're easily, you were kids once upon a time in your life, we're easily influenced by anything. So basically that's what made
Yeah.
the mask very popular, seeing it. And then it was like around
Yeah.
2020 during the pandemic, it came at the perfect time.
Yeah.
We was all wearing the COVID mask, so then people just started wearing the ski mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a great
That's good.
shorthand for the
Yeah,
whole
it is.
idea. It's a big idea with a little statement that everybody gets.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
manipulator always has his mask on.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
What
Wow.
was the one that caught on for a while with the woman? What was that? Bye bye Rebecca, or what was that?
Bye, Felicia.
Bye Felicia. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That caught on. It's the same thing. I'm rid of that trash now, man.
We're allowed to
It's
learn
gone.
you, Jethro.
Yeah, bye Felicia. That's right. That's a great metaphor. You're right, Robin. That's a great metaphor. Definitely.
Everybody either gets or don't.
Yeah. Well, this has
Yeah.
been a wonderful opportunity. Perhaps we'll have another opportunity at some point to see how you're doing with this and how, because you're just at the beginning stages of this. And, you had a lot of years in the other direction and a lot of experience and a lot of success with it in the other direction. But now you begin to see and to feel the authenticity of you as a human being, as you as a spirit, as you as a thing moving through the universe. And when you begin to see that and you're able to feel that and feel the warmth of that and the freedom of that, so you don't have to be thinking about what do I say about this? How do I fix that? What am I going to do? What if they say that? When you don't have to think like that all the time, it does a whole lot for you as a human being. Go
And
ahead.
Go ahead, Robin.
oh, I was gonna say, if I could get woo woo on you, you've literally changed your vibration. So you're
Yeah,
vibrating at a different frequency because
right.
we don't exist. It doesn't end here,
Yeah,
right? If you
yeah,
measure our magnetic field, it goes
yeah.
way out and people can feel it. They sense it,
Well, that's why it's so important for you to
especially
be here.
women.
I know you want to say something. Hold on, Jeff, but I want to finish that Robin's thought. That's why it is so valuable for you to be here with us in this time, because the things that you're saying, the things that you're doing, the way that you look, even for people who can't see you, they feel that vibration you are giving off in this last half hour. It's going on and on and on. So I thank you deeply for all that. And I'm sorry to interrupt. You're going to say something. Go ahead,
Perfect,
Jethro.
Dr. Becker. What I was going to say is that it would be very unfair of me to not say this to the audience is that I am a professional quitter. What I mean by that is I always start something within my physical journey, then I hit a wall.
Yeah.
So I want to tell people that when you're trying to change, you're trying to do better, it's very difficult. You're gonna fall down, you're gonna fall down off your own steps more than likely every time. But it just matters if you just keep getting back up and trying because I've been trying to run Robin and Dr. Becker, I've been trying to run a marathon now for like the past 5 years and I've always quit. Always hit a wall and stop. I've been trying to stay physically fit for the last 5 to 7 years and I always stop. Then
Oh,
would just start smoking a lot, drinking a lot, and that's
uh,
why I started going on this sobriety. Is that coming from a professional quitter, just take
yeah.
it a day at a time. Like the reason why I'm able to do what I'm doing now is literally just saying 24 hours. That's it. If God puts me on his wake up list, that means I have a chance to accomplish what I need to accomplish for the team.
I love that term, Robin. Professional quitter. Man, when you can admit to that and you can live that, that's fantastic. That's just great.
I get it. I get it. But you can be a professional, what's the word? Well, it's not actually a noun, but resilience. So the
Yeah.
resilience is picking it up and doing it again
It's tough.
after you
Tough.
quit. And
Tough.
that's what you're doing now.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then so don't even use that word quitter anymore.
Nah, no,
Keep it
past
out of
tense.
your lexicon.
You know what? Let's think about this. We have only a couple of minutes to finish up here, but I want to think about this. How about uh, it's just an idea that comes to me at this point, Jethro. How would you be willing in about 6 months or so from now to us for us to interview you again and talk about the kind of progress that you're making, how difficult or how easy it's been for you and where you
Or
are?
what you've
Would
learned
you be open
after
to
you
that?
read our book.
Yeah, yeah,
Hell yeah, man. Y'all cooler than the other side of the pillow. Hell yeah, man.
yeah,
I bought the
Oh
book.
my gosh, I can't believe you said that.
I
yeah.
bought I bought the book. Shouts out to Robin. Robin is an amazing saleswoman.
Oh, jeez.
Got me. She got me to buy the book. I bought the book.
Oh my gosh.
I'm reading the book of me. I'm looking at the book that I have right now that I need to finish. So once I'm done with this book I'm looking at right now, I'll read your book immediately. And yeah, I typically I try to read 1 hour a day. But
Yeah.
yeah, so right up done with this book, I'm looking at to the left, to my left. I'm definitely your book. But yeah, I did purchase it. It did get here on Thursday, and it's back there in my book collection. Yeah, my book collection, if you can see it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I see it
I
right on
can't
top.
wait to hear what you think
And
about it,
right,
especially
right on
coming
top.
from
I
your,
see it. I see it.
Hold
Well,
on.
that's
you'd be
awesome.
willing to go through this with us again in about 6 months or so and see how
Yeah,
you're doing?
I just said hell yeah, Dr. Becker. I said
He
yeah.
said, hell yeah,
That's great.
Dr.
That's
Becker.
great. That's
Oh,
great.
I'm
That's
gonna pause
great.
my video. Give me one moment. For
No
the,
problem.
for the people that can see us, they need to get the book as well too. Don't just listen to the podcast. Get the book.
Oh,
Oh,
for
oh,
goodness
thanks,
sakes. There
Jethro.
it is.
Who
Yeah,
is the
there it is.
salesperson now?
Uh,
Yeah.
this is not a paid advertisement.
No.
This is not a paid advertisement. The
That's
person
funny.
saying it
That's
is the
great.
person was not paid. I was not paid.
That's
No.
great. Well, you'll find in there some very specific things that come out of the conversation we've had here today, and some very specific things that you'll be able to try. And then in 6 months or so, we'll talk to you about, have you tried any? How did they work? How are you feeling? What's going on? We'll get an update. So all of our fans, and I don't really call them that, but all of our listeners will be able to hear the kind of success that you've had so far on your own, Jethro. And hopefully anything that we're contributing right here, you can be able to use that in your pathway as you're going on this journey. So I'm delighted to have had this opportunity to meet you, and thank you, Robin, for finding you two finding each other and including me in your conversation.
The
It's been great.
universe divinely connected.
Yeah, it works. It
That
works.
is how
We
Yeah.
met at an intersection.
it
All right, guys. Well, I can see by the old clock on the wall that it's about time for us to move on. So it's been wonderful meeting you. Thank you, Robin, and thank you, Jethro, for coming on and being so open with us and being so sincere. We're going to push you on as much as we can and pull you if we need to. In the meantime, Robin, is there anything you want to tell folks about how they can reach us?
Go to outwitinrealtime.com.
That's it. Outwitsinrealtime.com. You'll reach us for the podcast, the book, and all kinds of other things. Until next time that we meet, I'm Dr. Dennis Becker saying thanks a lot to our friend Gethro Lacroix, however you like it that way. And for my colleague Robin Golinski, I'm Dr. Dennis Becker saying thanks for listening and bye for now.